Welcome everybody to Comedy on Tap. I'm your host Mark Bonto for another week of hilarity and fun. Today, our show, we have a guest with us today who's just one of the funnier comedians on the circuit. He's never done one of the Funny Spot shows yet, although that's coming. But I know he's very busy in comedy. We're going to be talking to him today and find out a little bit more about him. I do know he's funny from checking him out and also from things I hear. Welcome to the show, Mr. Paul Pepitone. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mark.
I always like a fellow Italian, Pepitone. I love it.
Yes.
Do you speak Italian?
You know what? I speak words in Italian.
Yeah.
I don't speak full Italian. I can't put a sentence together in Italian. A lot of times I meet people from Italy and they'll ask me, they'll try to speak Italian with me. Like, hey, paisan, like, ciao. And my responses are always one-word responses that end up making me sound like a 3-year-old. So, I try to avoid speaking Italian as much as possible.
You know that, yes. Well, I do the same. Except my dad, he thinks he can speak fluent Italian. But he's so broken now. It's like, hey, come on, a little bit, and then he goes into his English stuff, and it's like, what did you just say?
Yeah.
What did you say?
Yeah.
He grabbed the belt when we were younger, and we knew what was coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you got beaten with the
Oh, yeah. Isn't that what?
Our form of discipline was a wooden cooking spaghetti stick.
Oh, really?
Like that was.
You saw the spaghetti stick coming. Food wasn't in the future. You did something wrong.
No, food was in the future.
Right.
Food was definitely in the future, but it was just ironic to be beaten with both.
That makes sense. Absolutely.
You know your spaghetti is al dente when it leaves a mark on your back.
Yeah, that's true. You know that you've done something right and wrong.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing comedy now?
The first time I ever did stand-up was in 2005.
Oh, okay, so quite a while then.
That was the first time I ever did stand-up.
Okay.
My first experience. I believe everybody's experience is different. And in 2005, when I finally got the courage to do it, I did it. It went horrible.
Right.
Went absolutely terrible. Was nothing like I expected. So then, over the course of the next couple of years, I started trying to put a set together, and then in 2010, I felt like I had jokes to tell on stage.
Right.
And
so you had a good period of thinking of comedy and writing stuff.
Exactly.
Before you started. So the last 6 years or so, you've been going at it pretty hard.
Last 6 years, I've been performing between 5 and 6 nights a week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, between 5 and 6 nights a week, and just trying to improve, getting funnier every day, every line, every word.
Yeah.
I should write a joke about the fact that I've dedicated myself completely to stand-up. That is my relationship. That's what makes me happy now.
Do you work as well?
Yes, I work for a company out of Sicily.
Really?
I work for a company out of Sicily. It's very Italian. It's actually from our home city in Sicily, Trapani, and the company I work for is Ciao Sicily Wines. I'm a wine agent.
Really?
For them, yeah.
So that's a fun job. You get to test the product and everything.
Test the product. Help with the once the wine gets here, meeting with customers, having dinners with customers. Once again, very Italian thing.
It is.
Pairing wine with
That's
steak.
A tough job. Oh boy.
Pairing it with calamari. Pairing it with gabagool. Pairing it with olive oil and bread. Pairing it with a nice bowl of pasta.
You do this every day?
You know what? Probably like 3 times a week. 3 times a week, I have a dinner appointment with a customer where we're going to go over our wine. We're going to go over our olive oil.
But as far as working though, you work the whole week, or you just 3 times a week you actually work?
It's basically 3 times a week. I am actually physically in interaction like this, and that's what I consider work.
Right.
Okay, because for me, I can't consider the work that I do in my off time. So, because sometimes I'll be sitting there and wanting to write comedy, wanting to write stand-up, and I have something, I'm thinking about something from work, and I need to work out a solution for that. And sometimes that process happens when we're doing stand-up. And I've been able to incorporate stand-up with part of the wine sales and whatnot. We'll do wine shows, and when we'll do wine shows, the winemaker from Sicily, Nonna Angelina, she'll come in from Sicily.
You're saying a lot more Italian words than you said you do.
Yeah, she'll come in from Sicily, and we'll set up at some sort of Italian restaurant, whatever, and tickets are usually like $25-$50, and
This is my dream job.
you get to sample
this,
all
right?
the wines.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
He's got my dream job.
yeah, I usually don't. I don't even talk about my
Right.
day job
No.
when I'm doing stand-up.
Well, and that's why I asked this, because how do you fit in all the comedy that you've been doing
Right.
with all this wine?
Right.
Wine in the day, drinks at night, doing comedy. This guy, you're my hero.
The funny thing is when lots of times at bars they'll offer the comic free drinks, free alcohol.
Sure.
When I go to bars, I don't drink. When I go to bars, I drink coffee. I actually bring my own coffee from some of my customers because for instance, Nino Savaggio's. Okay, of course, that's an Italian.
That's my uncle's name.
Market Savaggio, really? Mark Banto, everybody. Mark Banto.
What Italian doesn't have an uncle named Nino Savaggio?
Yeah, just a couple Goombas.
No, but so you're able to. So in the daytime, but you don't drink at night.
Right.
But are you able to take a little bit of sip of the wine in the daytime?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like,
that's his job.
That's a necessity. As a matter of fact, if I was introducing you to the wine right now, we would have a plate of some nicely cut steak, maybe some calamari. See how the red goes with the steak. See how the white
We're gonna start a new
goes
show.
with the
We're gonna turn from comedy to Mark and Paul tasting and drinking. That would be a great, and we could just sit here and drink and eat and be Italian, and it'd be the happiest half hour on TV.
Yeah, and I'm sure if it went another half hour, it might look like an episode of The Sopranos.
Probably. Getting back to comedy.
I'll invite my mother. I'm sorry.
Were you funny growing up? How did you know you're funny? That first time in 2005, when you tried it, why did you try it?
Well, you know what? I was in love with stand-up ever since I was a child. I've been told that I always made people laugh. When I see people I'm to school with, like they're happy to see me.
Right.
And that's a weird feeling. They're happy to see me, and they're like, "Oh, because you were always so funny in school, you made me laugh." And I was like, "Okay." I didn't think I was much of a class clown. I know that I made very hard remarks. Sometimes I was playing football. I think it was like my sophomore year, and one of the freshmen had just been in a huge collision with another guy, and coach is walking him across the field, holding his arm like this. And just my response in front of like both teams was, "Hey dude, I'm not a doctor, but it looks like your arm's broke." And just everybody laughed, and the coach was just like, "Pepitone, shut up." So I heard a lot of "Pepitone, shut up." I didn't realize that meant I was also funny.
But it did turn into it. It made you. It helped you with your sarcasm.
Yes. Yeah. Well. Yeah. And that's. I think that's where a lot of it comes from. Is just sarcasm, and then just getting it to spin around in your head.
Yeah. And you're not doing any of my the Funny Spot shows yet. You will.
Yeah. Right.
I don't really know your type of comedy. What type of comedy would you say you have? Does it come from anger? Is it Italian, like our buddy Paolo Busignani? I don't know if you know him.
Yeah, I know Paolo Busignani.
Do you have any Italian? Do you have? We all know each other.
Yeah.
But do you have any? I say ethnic humor. But any nationality humor, Italian humor, or do you stick with true stories? Are you a observationalist? What kind of humor do you have?
It's a combination of.
Is it sarcastic? Do you everybody with a broken arm? Hey.
Yeah, it's I think there's maybe like one joke I tell about playing football, and that's based off a true story. And we were playing in an opponent stadium, and the announcer misspoke my name after a long run, and the announcer said pepperoni. and everybody just laughed. Everybody just laughed, and that's a true story. That's just based off of the ridiculous where it's like, when was the first time you got your biggest laugh?
Right.
Yeah, I was in front of an audience of 500 people.
Right.
At a football game.
At your expense.
Yeah, because somebody misspelled my name.
Right.
My type of comedy. You know what? I talk about my life. I talk about the car I drive. I talk about my mother. I talk about how my mother relates to social media and how that affects me. And how that affects her. Okay, for instance, is your mother still alive?
Yes.
Oh, congratulations!
Oh, perfect. Yeah,
everybody at home, if you have a mother,
that's right.
she's doing well. There you go. Very Roman Catholic. Yeah, but that's how. For the longest time, my mother or my aunts, whenever we'd get together, I bring along a newspaper, and I go for the sports section, the headlines, and the first section they'd always want is the obituaries.
Of course.
And why are you looking at the obituaries?
Right.
What's the big deal? And it's because their friends aren't on social media, and if they haven't heard from them in a while, you have to check the obituaries to see if, and her actually seeing someone that had passed away, okay, and then her scratching out that name, and then getting her address book, and then defriending somebody in real life.
So that's their equivalent of unfriending them on Facebook.
Correct.
That's what the older,
Correct. That's updating their Facebook.
They've got to get with it.
Obituaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's okay. So do you use that? That's good.
Yeah, that's it.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. That's.
Like I said, you haven't done any amateur, so I really don't know, but that's good stuff.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, and what else? I do things about being Roman Catholic, and that's big. I was raised Roman Catholic.
Oh, yeah?
A picture of the Pope.
Sure.
In the house, picture of the Last Supper.
Oh yeah.
Crucifixes, the rosaries.
Yes. Didn't they try to do that when we were younger? Didn't they? My parents tried tricking me. They put a picture of the 12 apostles in our room. They told me it was a new rock group. They wanted to make sure. But did they do stuff like that?
Well, yeah, things that make religion seem cool.
Yeah. So you do it. Yeah.
But what was really cool though was being a child and being Italian. Anyone who's Italian can probably relate. Is the little Jesus and his disciples figurines that are in the car, sitting on the dashboard. And to me, that was the coolest thing. As a child, I had GI Joes. You know what I'm saying? So it was
Did it make you go to church? Did you have to go to church?
I did. I had to go to catechism, and I could sit through a church, but I could not sit through catechism. That was unbearable. I was baptized, made my communion.
Do people who have never gone through catechism know how hard it is for a kid to go through catechism? Is it? This is something that I'll never forget.
Yeah, catechism was just. It was rules, and for me, I might have been 8 years old. Yeah. I don't know when you do catechism, but to me that's just too. It's too young. You look at the books that they had. It's like right. Jesus is in a cartoon color book world.
That's true.
And they're trying to simplify things, and you can't ask any questions. But I'm completely cool with all of the figurines. And I drive a Ford Focus now. You said earlier, 2014 Ford Focus, everybody. Adventures Paul Papadoni and Ford Focus.
Are you selling it?
No, I feel like I should be. I want to do a show that's just called. It's like Paul Papadoni and Friends in a Ford Focus, because I have 7 comedian friends that all have Ford Focuses.
Oh, okay.
But I have holy water in my glove box, and to me those are just.
You really do?
I do.
Why is that?
Because it's not for any religious reasons. Okay, it's more of a tribute to my grandfather, my grandmother. That's something they would do. They put little religious artifacts. Right. The glove box. notes, you know,
Right.
hanging from the mirror, you know, just a picture of the Pope on the front grill of the car, something,
Sure, something.
you know, something to, you know.
Well, that's nice. You honor them by doing that. Do you throw any of in your comedy? Do you do any family stuff? Talk about your family or this kind of thing. Do any of that seep into your comedy?
Yeah, I talk about my mother. My mother's a big portion of my act. Sometimes she's cool with it, but it does get funny because so much of my material does go back to my mother in some way.
Yeah.
You know, how I was raised. What made me different from like other kids? You know, other kids had rules. Okay,
Right.
my mother didn't give me rules.
Right.
You know, it's
Right.
like, oh, it's dark outside. You know, it's like, make sure you have a weapon. You know, like,
Yeah. She wanted
you know,
you to protect it the right way.
it was just Italian families are different. Like the one thing that she used to worry about when we were kids was kidnapping. Like
Right.
someone was going to kidnap one of us, and it's like,
Yeah.
you know, like we felt like self defense instructors as like children that
Right.
like, you know, just Sicilian families. I know, and that's
That's good.
Yeah.
You could use that stuff. I say that's good stuff.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
When you do now, you're doing. You're traveling all over most of the time.
Yes.
You're from where are you? You're from St. Clair Shores.
Yes, I'm from St. Clair Shores.
Okay. All right. Okay. And so you travel. You do. How far do you go? Where do you do most of your shows? I know you haven't done one of my shows yet.
Right.
But you stick around the area or the whole? Where do you go?
You know,
With this job that you've got.
yeah. Well, with the job that I have.
Right.
There's obviously there's three things that I need to do on like a day-to-day basis, and then comedy-wise, I help run a room, Dale Sports Bar, aka the Cellar in St. Clair Shores, on Thursdays. That's a 10 p.m. show. It goes till like whenever.
How does that work out? Thursdays at 10
Thursdays at 10. Well,
in St. Clair Shores.
correct.
Dale Sports Bar.
Yes.
So if you didn't catch that,
Yeah. Dale Sports Bar in St.
and you
Clair
host
Shores.
that, you co-host that.
I am
You
the host.
are.
It was okay. Jeremy Shipley was a great comedian friend. He started the show 4 years ago. He's got a life and things and other things going on, and he asked me to help him with the show. So I've been hosting the show for the past 6 months.
Oh, that's awesome.
But you know, I've been co-hosting that show for probably the past 2 years.
So he doesn't. He doesn't help. He's not there with you. You're there.
Well, yeah, he's not. Yeah. He's got family stuff.
Okay.
You know,
All right.
and
So you're there. You book the comics. You're there, and you're doing that. That's
I
motion.
don't even book the comics. I don't even book the comics. What I do is
I think you need to come in this way a little bit.
Okay.
All right. That's okay.
I put out a post.
Right.
I put out a comedy post, and it's a show up, go up. So any comedian from all over, I'll put it on like 3, 4, 5 different networks, and just invite everybody out. It's stage time. I always write 7 minutes, but I'm known as being super lenient with time.
Yeah, I'm somewhere.
I'll put the list out in front of the comics, so you don't have to ask me like, "Hey, Paul, when am I going? Am I third? Am I fourth?"
Right. Right.
I'll have 31 comics show up to a show, you know,
And you put them all up.
and I will put them all up.
Wow.
Yeah.
And the Dales let you go that long and let you do all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's one of the open mics I do. The second one is it's the New Wave Bar in Ferndale, and I'm Janus, the regular host. I'm the co-host of that show too.
Right.
And for that show, we'll get between 31 and 42 comics on.
Oh wow.
You know, and that'll go from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m.
So that's another open mic that people.
That's another open mic, and they're both show up, go ups. And the reason why I like the show up, go up is that if you're a newer comedian and you need to work on your act, you know, show up, go up is, you know, you're not being excluded from like anybody's list. And then
do 5 minutes and.
Right, you can do 5 minutes, and then since I've been doing comedy for 6 years, I've made a lot of friends that are in New York, L.A., Chicago,
Right.
Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Canada,
Right.
and they like to come in and do
Sure.
that mic, because I'll give them 10 minutes, 12 minutes, depending on how deep the lineup is. But I'll make it work. So like, oh, you came out with 5 friends, well, let's make it worth your while.
So doing both of those, it has to take up a lot of your time plus your job. Are you able to do just go on your own and do your your own little sets at different comedy clubs, or are you pretty much stuck to the 2 places you host?
I don't want to say I'm stuck, but I'm dedicated
Sure.
to.
So it takes a lot of your time to do those 2.
Well, yeah. I mean, and there's more things that I could do, and for me, that's something that about myself where I'll do something, look at it back, and I'll be like, oh, you know what? I could have did this differently. I could have did this. I'd like to see the scene on the East Side thriving, doing well, and then I can do more things. I can have people co-host for me. You have a Thursday show, and I want to do one of those Thursday shows or something like that. But I'm like, well, I need to find a co-host. I need to find a responsible co-host that can keep the ship on track and just keep it like moving. Especially if you're going to put up a lot of comics, just keep it moving, please.
Right. So it sounds to me like you do go around and do stuff, but you make sure you cover those 2 places first.
Yes.
So so the 6 years now, you got any stories or anything you want to kind of? I mean, everyone, you do it that long. Mm-hmm. I've been doing it 38 years. I've got a few stories, but. Is there anything that stands out? Any maybe behind the scenes thing? Any crowd stories or hecklers or anything? What's the kind of a roughest night you've had?
The roughest.
Was that the opening? The first one you ever did?
Well, yeah. See, I try to level things out. Like, okay, like what's the worst show that I've ever done?
Right.
Well, the worst show that I ever personally completely failed at was my first stand-up appearance ever back in 2005. But I have to weigh that against being extremely brand new, not knowing anything.
Right.
So in retrospect, that's not so bad. I find that the funnier I get, or the funnier I think I get, the more recognition I get from hosting a show, or maybe I featured at a show, or I worked at a comedy club, or I was on a local cable access TV station.
Right, that's good stuff.
Okay, I always have to keep myself in check.
Right.
Okay, in check, because no matter how good I think I'm doing in something, there's somebody above me who's doing the same thing that I'm doing.
Right.
So I don't think that answered the question. What it would have answered the question would have been.
It was a good answer.
Yeah, it was a great answer. It was very political. It's political season.
Didn't know where you were going with that, but
yeah,
that made sense.
For now, a bad show would be if I put together a showcase and I get all the comics that I want.
Right.
And I'm happy with that. And then the night of the show, everybody comes, just the comics come, and then I look out in the audience, and there's nobody there. Or
So
there's like 3 people there.
Is that what makes a good show for you? The fact that people attend, or what really makes you happy for a show? Either be you performing or put together a good show. What makes it good for you?
What makes it good for me is, yes, people attending. That makes you feel good. Having the comedians I want on the show makes me feel good. Having the audience-wise, having it like half men, half women, to me, that's the sign of a really good audience. Too often at some shows, I've done shows where it's like 90% men.
Right.
And that doesn't make it, to me, that doesn't make it fair.
No.
It doesn't make it fair somehow.
You want the even scale there.
I like it when women are the best laughers.
Yeah.
To me, a woman in the audience can always be the best laughter. There's probably like 7 shows that I've done within the past year where I can remember a specific woman from the show because her laugh was so great.
You kind of want that at every show. It's
Oh
like,
yeah,
come on.
it's infectious.
It is.
Where you finish a punchline, okay, it's funny, but her laugh, it struck her, and she's so happy. She laughs, and then it's contagious.
Everybody laughs.
And
for a comedian, that's what we want.
Oh yeah, exactly. And sometimes at a show, like even if I go into a show and I look and I'm like, oh, this doesn't, for whatever reason, it might be in my head, whatever.
Right.
This doesn't look it's gonna be a good show. And then I go to do that show, and for whatever reason, I can be funny, and they get them to like. Sometimes the crowd's just tight,
Right.
you know.
Right.
And you find what can loosen them up, and they loosen up, and then everybody laughs and has a good time, and everybody has a good time after the show.
Do you find that going first when you host is a hard spot or easy?
I've always heard it's the hardest spot. I think it's one of the easiest spots. As the host of the show, I get to tell jokes. I get to be a comedian, but I also get to use a part of my personality that I like, and that's my salesman personality.
Sure.
A little bit, where I want to sell you on the fact that this is going to be a good show. This is going to be a really good show, and this next comic that's coming up is one of my favorites.
That's right.
This comic coming up. And the reason for that is because I know a lot of these comics. Personally, I've been on the road with them.
Right.
We have a history together. So sometimes I can tie in a story before an introduction. And
I know exactly how that goes. We got like 2 minutes left. I want to
Okay.
make sure we do it. How do people, if they want to see you, in general, where do they go? We've talked about the Dales.
Yes.
And what was the other place?
The New Way Bar.
The New Way Bar.
Yes.
Why didn't I remember that?
And also a once a month showcase that myself and my co-host Miles Delu do at you like that Delu do.
Is that a female?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought I caught that.
Yeah, we host a once a month showcase at the Dovetail Coffee Shop in Warren.
So that's the third place.
So that's the third place.
You're becoming another Mark Bunto. I got 6 venues. You're trying to catch up to me.
Is this an Italian thing?
It's got to be. But 1 minute left. Well, okay. So and give us contact information if all these people want to get a hold of Paul Pepitone and my compadre.
Okay, if you want to get a hold of Paul Pepitone, find me on Facebook. Paul Pepitone, that's easy. I don't have a Twitter. I don't have an Instagram.
As your name, it's Pipitone, isn't it? The Pipitone?
Correct, Pepitone.
There you go.
Yeah, friends call me Paulie Pepitone.
I got news for you, Paul.
Yes.
Everybody calls Italian Paulie.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what your name is. You're either Paulie or Guido. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming by. It was
Mark
a pleasure
Bunto,
having
thank
you. You're a good guy. I hope to see you on one of my stand-up shows one of these days.
Let's book it.
I've written for this.
Come on to the show.
Everybody who comes on the show gets a free copy. I've written for this publication for 3 years. It's called Flint Comics. It's signed. It's yours to keep for coming on the show. Now it goes down in value. It goes from free to -2 cents.
Flint Comics, everybody. Flint Comics.
Paul Pepitone, thanks again, my friend.
Thank you, Mark
I hope to
Bunto.
see you at one of my shows. This has been Mark Bunto for Comedy on Tap. Thanks for joining us. Everyone have a funny night. Good night, everyone.